Hello, my name is Andrew O. Jackson, and I am founder and director for the Center of Symbiotic Psychology. This is a first contact presentation into the Tao of Athletic Success Workout, a course in how an athlete and their coaches must utilize and harmonize their mind, body, emotions, and awareness together as a team to succeed in competition and in life. Not until the illusion of emotions is understood will the power of emotions be revealed. I give you an end of a stick to hang on to. One end represents strength, empowerment, and successful decision making. The other end represents weakness, impotence, and poor decision making. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? How do you know? Which end of the stick do you want to hang on to? Picture yourself sitting on a rock beside a quiet mountain lake. As the day wears on and the sun travels across the sky, there is a movement of light and shadow. I want you to see, understand, and feel this marvelous and harmonious motion. In the Tao, this harmony between light and shadow, feminine and masculine, emotions and mind is represented as yin yang. This talk is about emotions, what they are, how they are used, how they have evolved over millions of years of struggle, hardship, and conflict, and the survival of the strongest, fastest, most agile, and clever. We are going to talk about emotions and their symbiotic harmony between mind, body, and awareness. Here's a simple, starting, and usable definition of emotions. Emotions are an awareness you feel. Emotions, along with moods, attitudes, and feelings, either feel good or they feel bad. What is the evolutionary importance of emotional awareness? Feeling good emotional awareness has evolved with a strong, robust, and healthy physiology of the mind and body, conducive to health, well being, and successful decision making prowess. Feeling bad emotional awareness has evolved with a weak, frail, and unhealthy physiology of the mind and body, susceptible to illness, injury, accidents, and poor decision making capacity. Think of an early humanoid on the African savannas. What would happen if feeling good emotional awareness evolved with a weak, frail, and unhealthy physiology of the mind and body? Want an unhealthy but feeling good hunter-gatherer still go out on the dangerous savannas, crossing fast-moving streams and climbing trees to hunt for game and to gather food? But this feeling good hunter-gatherer has a weak, frail, and unhealthy physiology of the mind and body. Is he physically capable of survival? Think of a feeling good, modern day drunk stumbling into his car to drive across town during rush hour traffic to buy groceries. It ain't going to happen. If an athlete is not emotionally aware, they cannot be physiologically aware of how their body will respond when passing a football, making a free throw, hitting a puck, spiking a volleyball, kicking a soccer ball, swinging a golf club, or any other refined performance activity. Let's look at another aspect of emotions. Want, desire, and intention calibrate your emotional awareness to your mental activities. Let's say you are a mountain climber ready to climb Mount Everest, and you looked at your gear and your climbing axe was gone, and in its place was a carpenter's hammer. How would you feel looking at that hammer? If you were looking at your climbing axe, how would you feel? Or let's say you were home repairing the roof of your house and all you had was your climbing axe. How would you feel? What an athlete wants, desires, and intends to accomplish calibrates their emotional guidance. In your sport, what do you not want, desire, nor intend? In your sport, what do you want, desire, and intend? Do you understand that emotions are not about what others are doing to you, but about your own mental activities? Emotions are about your own thoughts, memories, beliefs, imaginings, perceptions, and reasonings, and your own wants, desires, and intentions. This discussion is about understanding and empowering your own emotionally evolved guidance mechanism. Your physical strength, power, speed, agility, and your mental cunning, wisdom, and successful decision-making capacity has evolved correlation with your good feeling emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings. Success comes from your ability to mentally focus away from the emotional bad feeling mental activities when dwelling upon what is not wanted, not desired, and not intended. Your self-empowerment comes from a strong, healthy, robust physiology in the mind and body when mentally dwelling upon that which is wanted, desired, and intended. Let's dive deeper into emotional awareness in respect to the process flow between mind, body, emotions, and awareness. Emotions are the perception of changes in states of neurology, biochemistry, and physiology in the brain and body precipitated by cognitive activities of the mind. Starting with mental activities of the mind, such as thoughts, memories, beliefs, imaginations, perceptions, and reasonings, these mental activities precipitate changes in the physiology of the brain and body. A focus on what is not wanted, desired, nor intended precipitates an unhealthy physiology that is perceived as bad feeling emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings. A focus on what is wanted, desired, and intended precipitates a healthy physiology that is perceived as good feeling emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings. In summary, when an athlete feels down, nervous, they are dwelling upon what they do not want and are creating an unhealthy, imbalanced physiology in the brain and body, susceptible to accidents, injury, and poor decision making. When an athlete feels good, ready to compete, they are dwelling upon what they do want and creating a healthy, balanced physiology in the brain and body conducive to strength, power, clarity, and successful decision making. So, what do you have to do to stay healthy, strong, powerful, and capable of successful decision making? Symbiotic sports psychology and coaching starts with understanding the power of emotional awareness, the power of emotionally feeling good or emotionally feeling bad. Feeling good has an evolved correlation with a strong, powerful, and healthy physiology. Feeling bad has an evolved correlation with an unhealthy, weak, and an imbalanced physiology susceptible to illness, injury, accidents, and poor decision making. So, what is your job? What is your responsibility? What is your task? First, reprocess bad feeling, unhealthy mental activities towards good feeling, healthy activities. Second, affirm your own good feeling, healthy mental activities. We will take a deeper dive into cognitive emotional affirmations and reprocessing later in this talk. For now, I want you to realize the vital importance of emotions and emotional awareness. Emotional awareness is crucial to staying healthy. Emotional awareness is critical to successful or unsuccessful decision making. Emotional awareness is necessary for an athlete to coordinate wants, desires, and intentions with their physiology. If an athlete is not emotionally aware, they cannot be physiologically aware of how their body will respond when passing a football, making a free throw, hitting a puck, spiking a volleyball, kicking a soccer ball, swinging a golf club, or any other refined performance activity. If an athlete is not emotionally aware, their intuition and instincts are sabotaged. But what is modern psychology and sports psychology doing to emotional awareness? Today's psychology can be illustrated with the cognitive triangle, showing how thoughts, emotions, and behavior interact, but stresses how thoughts can influence emotions that drive behavior. This modern psychology is based on a 3,000-year-old language and literary linguistics of the supremacy of the mind controlling dysfunctional emotions that drive destructive behavior as found in Homer's Iliad. The first line of Homer's Iliad reads, "Goddess, sing me the anger of Achilles, Peleus' son, that fatal anger that brought countless sorrows on the Greeks and sent many valiant souls of warriors down to Hades, leaving their bodies as spoil for dogs and carrion birds. For thus was the will of Zeus brought to fulfillment. Achilles' anger brought countless sorrows on the Greeks. Achilles' anger sent many valiant souls to Hades." Homer inscribes the emotion of anger as causal. That is, anger is the cause of Achilles' behavior. This literary linguistic paradigm of emotional-driven behavior demands emotional regulation, management, and control, even with the use of pharmaceuticals, because dangerous emotions can drive destructive behavior. But there is a flaw within this 3,000-year-old literary linguistic paradigm of emotionally driven behavior. Emotions don't drive behavior. Homer was unaware of emotional evolution and how human physiology of the brain and body actually do drive behavior. Modern sports psychology is based on a flawed 3,000-year-old language and literary linguistics of the supremacy of the mind controlling dysfunctional emotions that drive destructive behavior. Today's academic sports psychology of mental toughness, mindfulness, meditation, and emotional control is sabotaging the evolutionary power of emotional awareness. Are you teaching and training emotional ignorance? 1. What is mental toughness training but to tolerate and ignore physical and emotional pain? An athlete is trained to focus on toughness rather than on the discipline needed to refocus bad feeling, disempowering, and unhealthy mental activities that precipitate an unhealthy, fragile, and imbalanced physiology towards good feeling, healthy, and empowering mental activities that precipitate a healthy, robust, and balanced physiology. 2. What does visualization do to an athlete's emotional awareness and response? When you add more detail by including emotions, are you suppressing emotional awareness by also imagining what your emotions should be? Or are you feeling emotions as a response to your visualization? Are you imagining emotions or are you actually feeling them as a response to your mental activities? There is power in negative thinking when using any bad feeling emotional awareness to visualize and imagine what you do want, desire, and intend. Do you actually feel the good and bad feeling emotions? Are you still visualizing them? 3. How about mindfulness training and meditation? According to the American Psychological Association, mindfulness is to be aware of one's emotions without judging or reacting to them. Is that so? Are you not judging, not reacting to your emotional awareness? What about emotional evolution? We absolutely must judge, evaluate, and respond to our emotional awareness. What do emotionally bad feeling mental activities say about the health of your physiology? What are emotionally good feelings saying about your biochemistry, neurology, and physiology of the brain and body? 4. How many of you have been told to have a short memory, to reset and move on after a mistake, bad play, penalty, or mishap? That is all fine and good if to reset means to actually mentally take your focus off the mishap and deliberately refocus on what you did want, desire, and intended to happen. To have a short memory or to do nothing about it is to maintain the same mental, physical aptitude of the mistake, and you will repeat it. Reset means refocus into a good feeling, powerful mental, emotional state of being. 5. What is mental positive self-talk? What do you mean by positive? If your mental positive self-talk includes emotional awareness, then fine. But everything up to now has been used to suppress emotional awareness, and positive self-talk doesn't seem to include an emotional basis. Or am I mistaken? 6. Modern psychology is about emotional control, regulation, and management by the mind, even with pharmaceuticals if needed. I hope you now realize that emotions have evolved not to be controlled, but to guide emotionally bad feeling, unhealthy mental activities that precipitate an unhealthy, fragile, and imbalanced physiology towards good feeling cognitions that correlate with a healthy, robust, and balanced physiology of the mind and body. Are you mentally strong, powerful, and disciplined and able to use your emotional awareness? Are you ready for quantum being of mindless, heightened awareness and instantaneous and explosive action within a peaceful state of no mind potential? Do you have the mental, emotional strength and conditioning to climb the Mount Everest of the Tao? At the very peak is the quantum being's heart-centered, peaceful state of no mind. But before reaching quantum being, an athlete must understand and develop their gut awareness and intuitive action of mind and heart. And before an athlete can develop their gut awareness and intuitive action, they must understand the process being and the actuation process of success hidden within their mind and emotions. And before even learning how to be successful is the athlete's mental emotional being in shape. What does that mean to get your mental emotional being in shape? What is strength and conditioning for the mind and heart? Are you in a vortex of disempowering, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities that precipitate an imbalanced physiology susceptible to injury, accidents, and poor decision making? Or are you in a vortex of empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities that precipitate a balanced physiology conducive to strength, power, and successful decision making? What happens to those who climb Mount Everest before they are ready? How many climbers have died trying to ascend Mount Everest because they are not properly prepared? The Tao of Athletic Success workout is a program to get an athlete's house in order, where mind, body, emotions, and awareness are in shape and working together as a team and are ready for your safe ascension of Mount Everest of the Tao. First, we must talk about the difference between mental toughness and mental discipline. Mental toughness will lead to injuries and accidents, if not worse. With mental discipline, every athlete learns how to work with their emotions to understand their mind and body strength, power, and health. A Baguba is a brutally aggressive guy or girl uninhibited by adversity. A Baguba is not about brutally dominating the opposition physically, emotionally, and mentally. A Baguba is not about mental toughness. A Baguba is not about an awareness of and tolerating through pain, injury, and adversity. A Baguba is about mental discipline and to use one's own emotional awareness to focus the mind from a place of weakness to a place of power. A Baguba is about mental emotional reprocessing to precipitate a healthier, balanced, and more powerful physiology. Baguba training for success is about mental discipline, ability, and motivation to reprocess bad feeling, unhealthy mental activities that precipitate a weak, fragile, and imbalanced physiology towards good feeling, healthy mental activities that precipitate a healthy, robust, and balanced physiology conducive to physical strength, power, speed, endurance, and agility, and to mental cunning, clarity, and successful decision-making ability and prowess. Mental emotional strength, power, and agility means an athlete can reprocess, reconstruct, and redevelop unhealthy, bad feeling mental activities into healthy, powerful, and good feeling mental activities under all and any condition, time, or place. Throughout this discussion, I have been talking about the importance of emotional awareness. An athlete's first indicator of weakness is their bad feeling emotional awareness if this awareness has not been squeezed out of their system through mental toughness training. An athlete can emotionally feel when they are in a vibrational vortex of bad feeling, weak, fragile, and imbalanced physiology susceptible to illness, injury, accidents, and poor decision making. An athlete can emotionally feel when they are in a vibrational vortex of good feeling, vigorous, robust, and balanced physiology, conducive to strength, power, clarity, and successful decision making. This is the wisdom and power of emotional awareness. Climbing the Mount Everest of the Tao starts with mental emotional strength and conditioning and developing and strengthening an athlete's skills, abilities, and understandings to successively reprocess disempowering, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities into empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities conducive to health, well-being, and successful decision-making prowess. Symbiotic sports psychology understands the mind, body, emotions, and awareness as a harmonious team that has evolved out of millions of years of struggle, conflict, and battle of the survival of the fittest, fastest, most agile, and clever among us to work together as a team. Emotional wisdom. Where do you start? An athlete starts by attaining and maintaining a vortex of empowering, healthy, and good feeling mental activities. Number one, do something for yourself every day that brings about good feeling emotional awareness. 2. Before you start a project, workout, practice, or start any chore or activity, take a moment of mental silence to get into a good feeling place of power. 3. Start prioritizing your daily activities. Start with the one that brings about the most excitement or passion. And after that activity has run its course, do the next exciting activity, and so on throughout the day. 4. Use the power stick to refocus from that which is not wanted to that which is wanted. Negative, emotional, bad feelings represent an unhealthy physiology of weakness. But there is power within this bad feeling, negative thinking. Negative thoughts tell an athlete what they don't want, such as a penalty, turnover, interception, fumble, or missed block. In your sport, your position, your performance, what don't you want? Now do the work and get to the other end of the stick by mentally refocusing upon what you do want that precipitates positive, good feeling emotions that represent a healthy and balanced physiology of strength and power. Cognitive emotional reprocessing. Step 1 is to develop healthy mental emotional distracting activities. The intent is to purposely distract the mind and get off an emotionally bad feeling place and into a feeling good place of power. Here the athlete is not trying to solve the problem. They must just get into a better feeling place where they can solve the problem. How fast can you get from an emotionally bad feeling physiology of weakness to an emotionally good feeling physiology of strength, power, and successful decision-making prowess? Here are some exercises to develop your speed and strength to move towards a better feeling place. Remember, you can't get there from here. In step 1, you are not trying to solve any problems. You are getting into a better feeling place where you can start problem solving. So, step 1, From a place of emotional hardship or even misery, an athlete does something for themselves that brings them back into a good feeling, emotions, moods, attitudes, and feelings of a healthy physiology. Distracting activities are only a first step to stop the emotionally bad feeling downward spiral. An athlete must get to an emotionally good feeling place where they can do something about their bad feeling, unhealthy mental activities. Here are some ideas to help an athlete develop their own list. You can stop the video and go through the list, or in the description below is a link to a PDF of these slides. Note, the Black Dog Institute in Australia uses student anxiety in primary schools as an indicator of a potential future of mental health problems. That is, if a student doesn't have the skills to move out of anxiety now, they won't have the capacity to reprocess bad feelings and unhealthy mental activities in their teen and adult years when life brings much greater challenges. Step 2 exercises are about developing mental emotional reprocessing skills, abilities, and understandings to get into a better or less bad feeling place of power. The intent is to turn pain into gain. How fast can an athlete reprocess, restructure, or redevelop emotionally debilitating, unhealthy, and bad feeling mental activities into healthy, strong, powerful, and good feeling mental activities? Here are some ideas to help an athlete reconstruct their mental activities. You can stop the video and go through the list, or in the description below is a link to a PDF of these slides. Some of you may have learned to be emotionally intelligent, but are you emotionally wise? Feeling bad is bad, biologically speaking. Feeling good is good, biologically speaking. Feeling bad has an evolved correlation with an unhealthy physiology of weakness and poor decision making. Feeling good has an evolved correlation with a healthy physiology of strength, power, speed, agility, and successful decision making ability and prowess. But a person is not an island unto themselves. We live with others in a society, a culture, and in life and in competition there are rules of engagement. Targeting and intentionally hurting someone in football may make you feel good, but the consequences are unfortunate for you and your team. Rules are meant for fairness of play and for the health of the players and the sport and for the society and culture in which you live. Anger is a two-edged sword. Yes, there is a feels-good short-term burst of adrenaline for greater power and strength for survival of the moment, but there can be behavior control problems with immediate and long-term negative health effects. Climbing the Mount Everest of the Tao, the process being. I had been alpine skiing most of my life, but for the first time I was going to flip and do a somersault off a small jump built out of snow on the ski slope. I had intent, thought it through, I felt it, I knew it, and then I just allowed it to happen. And oh yeah, what a thrill that was. I want everyone to hold their arm straight out at shoulder height. Are you holding it? Now allow your arm to drop. You don't do it, you allow it. It happens. This allowing is the same allowing when an athlete can feel it, knows they know it, and allows it to happen. You don't do it. You don't do your arm to go down. You allow your arm to go down. Allow and it happens. Don't do it, allow it. Every successful competitive move, play, or shot involves learning this 5-step process. Learning and actualizing these steps will also reduce and eliminate accidents and injuries due to an unhealthy and imbalanced physiology. Intend it, think it, feel it, I know it, and allow it. These 5 steps harmonize an athlete's mind, body, and emotional awareness towards a feels good, confident, and reflexive dynamic to successfully complete a move, play, or shot. Remember, emotionally feeling good has an evolved correlation with a healthy physiology of success, and emotionally feeling bad has an evolved correlation with an unhealthy physiology of failure. If you don't feel it, you don't know how your body will physiologically respond to your intent, leading to an interception, airball, turnover, skyball, bogey, etc. Success in competition demands your emotional feeling and knowing of success and allowing success to happen. Don't do it, allow it, and it happens. Use the following actualization play sheets to break each play or move into its segments of learning. For each play or move, state its intent. What is the play's intent? What do you want, desire, and intend to accomplish? 2. Think it. Mentally learn each aspect of a play or move. This is usually accomplished through visualization and repetitive walking through and practicing the motions until you mentally can recite the play. 3. Feel it. Can you feel it? Can you emotionally feel it in your body, muscles, and bones? 4. Do you now know you know it? There is no doubt. There is no maybe. There is a knowing that you can and will do it. You can make that free throw. You can make that pass. You can make that goal. You can make that catch. You can make that shot. You know your success before the event happens because you have already lived the event. But you don't do it. Success is not a doing, it is an allowing. 5, you allow it to happen, and it happens. And finally, 6, were you successful? Did it happen? If not, repeat the process. If successful, congratulate yourself for knowing success. An athlete can self-evaluate 11 moves on a sheet, or as I was able to put 11 positions on a sheet, a football coach can use the actualization sheets to evaluate every position of a single play. Or a basketball coach can use 5 rows for what each player should accomplish within a play, or 9 for the soccer coach, and so on and so forth. This is an offensive play sheet. On offense, the players are going to allow and actualize an intention. This is a defensive play sheet. A defensive player or play must react to their awareness of an offensive intention, and then the defensive player or play must allow their reaction from this knowing awareness. Now, in football, a defensive lineman can also be on offense because they start with an intent to get at the quarterback. And an offensive lineman may also be on defense because they must react to a defensive intent to get at their quarterback. Every player is constantly shifting from offense to defense back to offense again. These 5-step actualization play sheets are an aid to help a player begin developing their intuition and instincts. At home, away from the practice field, also provides opportunities to practice being successful. The home 5-step actualization process of success can be used to find the feeling and knowing of success within every chore or home activity. Before each activity, take a deep breath and stop. What are you going to do? What is your segment of attention and allowing? These can be simple activities like making your bed, eat a healthy breakfast, go to school, or study for a class. All these home activities are very important opportunities to practice the feeling of success. If you can't get into a place of emotionally feeling your successful accomplishments throughout the day, how can you get to that good feeling place of success in practice? or in competition. A player should be able to state an intention and find the feeling of success within 5, 10, or even more activities throughout the day. Climbing the Mount Everest of the Tao, the intuitive being. I was taking a shower. Suddenly something was wrong. I smelled death. My gut sank and I looked around. There on the high window ledge, I was eyeball to eyeball with a scorpion. An intuitive being acts on a knowing from a feeling that something feels off, or acts on a knowing that this feels right. To be successful as an intuitive being, an athlete must understand the harmonious dance between shadow and light, feminine and masculine, between emotions and mind. An athlete cannot act on good or bad feeling gut awareness if they are in an unaware state of mental emotional turmoil that will camouflage any subtle mental emotional significance and meaning. Whether an awareness that something feels right or wrong, the mind must process that intuition or hunch into an awareness and action from within a good feeling vortex of power, strength, and agility conducive to health, well-being, and success. If an athlete is not emotionally aware, they have no instincts or intuition to act on. Without emotional awareness, a quarterback will have no touch and not have the intuitive awareness to throw or not throw a pass. The intuitive being is acting not on mental logic, but on the harmonious feeling between mind and emotions. An intuitive athlete is emotionally aware of and acting on the unconscious physical subtleties within the match, game, or opponent, such as the smell of the opponent's body chemistry, the slight twitches of their muscles, the glance of their eyes, the position of their arms, hands, fingers, or even the vibrational feel of the air. A player can easily become emotionally aware of a situation before they become mentally aware of it. Emotions have a mental aspect. When an athlete emotionally feels, what are these feelings' mental attributes? What does this feeling mean mentally? What are these emotional feelings telling me? Be careful not to act on emotional impulses until you can act on emotionally good feeling place of knowing. Feel, know, act. At this level of being, an athlete must still heavily rely on their mental understandings and constructs of their world. As an athlete becomes more quantum being, they use less of their cognitively defined world construct to guide their action and incorporate more of their heart center emotional being. Climbing the Mount Everest of the Tao, the quantum being. What is real and what isn't? I was out at my family's farm under my car in the cold winter snow, working on the rear brakes. I called my grandmother to tell her I was going to be late for our dinner because I was having trouble with the repair. In her mind, she believed I was out shacking up with a girl somewhere. She was convinced that my car repair was just a hoax. I shook my head and said I will see you later and went back out under the car in the frozen snow. She had her awareness of what was real and what was happening and acted accordingly. I had mine. Is your mind determining what reality is or what it isn't? What reality is your awareness determining? Are you focused, aware, and dwelling within what is desired or within what is not desired? Your action follows that determination. I was in a wrestling match down 1 point when we went off the mat. I was on top with 10 seconds left on the clock. 10 seconds. What can I do in 10 seconds? I still believe that I was the winner of this match. I knew and still could feel myself as victorious. The whistle blew, my mind went blank. I saw myself get my leg in for a crossbody ride, threw myself forward, with his arm and a chicken wing onto his back. 2 points and the match was over. I had won. I never used or practiced the crossbody ride, but somehow it happened. In a quantum world, awareness and action are not two separate events, but become a singular behavior. As the mind shapes reality, the heart reveals its desirability. Quantum being is a peaceful state of no mind, potential, of mindless, heightened, and expanded awareness, igniting instantaneous and explosive action. Quantum being is death of the ego mind, the convoluted, twisted, and blaring aspect of the cognitive mind an athlete created to survive within their past cultural environment. As long as the ego mind still shapes its own reality, it sabotages a future, heart-centered, heightened, and expanded awareness of spontaneous, explosive action. Quantum being is a very subtle, heart-centered existence of supreme confidence and awareness. Quantum being is a practice of no mind and being of no thought, where mental activity is silenced, allowing a state of infinite potential. When you step out onto the mat, who has the stronger, more powerful cognitive, emotional, and reprocessing capacity for success and can attain and maintain their heart-centered emotional awareness and knowing that they are the winner, you or your opponent? Up to now, I have been talking with our common mental emotional belief and understanding of time, space, objects, and the reality we have been taught and live by every day. But what if time, space, objects, and our awareness of this reality are all interconnected and different for different people? The quantum world is not logical and doesn't make sense to our common mental awareness and consciousness. In the quantum world, we talk about no mind and mindless because the world we constructed with our mind as children and know mentally as real or reality must be put aside. This may not make sense to you now, but as you start silencing your mind and find 5 minutes of complete quiet every day, you will gain your own appreciation of the quantum universe. My wife and I were sitting on our patio with our cat Mindy, lying on the grass in front of us. My wife suddenly saw a hawk swoop in with astonishing speed towards our cat and then fly off. My experience was different. As the hawk swooped in, time stopped, and for a moment we stared at each other. I commanded no. The hawk turned his head and flew off. Time is not the ticking of seconds on a clock. Time is flexible, pliable, it expands and contracts. What can you as a competitor do within those seconds that time slows down or even stops? In quantum physics, there is the double slit experiment where light and time behave one way when not observed and another when observed. An athlete does not just observe what is and what is happening, but with that observation shapes what is and will be. Just by being aware, observing, and giving meaning to an event makes it so. As an athlete, are you aware and acting as you want or as your opponent wants? What do I mean by this? As a drafting instructor helping a student, I could get caught in their mistaken mental construction to the solution of a drawing problem. I could get caught in their vibrational vortex and awareness, what they saw as real. As an athlete, do you want to be caught in your opponent's reality of their success or in your reality of your own success? Only from within your heart are you aware and acting as you want or as your opponent wants. Champions in sport or in life prevail because their cognitive emotional projection of a reality becomes dominant and prohibits the competition from seeing the reality of their own success. Success is not trying. Success is not doing. Success is being. Success is a state of being, a feeling good, mental, emotional, healthy state of being that has evolved with power, strength, speed, stamina, agility, and successful decision making. Don't do it, be it. I give you an end of a stick to hang on to. One end represents strength, empowerment, and successful decision making. The other end represents weakness, impotence, and poor decision making. Which end of the stick are you hanging on to? Do you know? Your heart knows. Can you feel it?